Hello, everybody. I'm Ryan from Fireside Yankees, joined by my friend and co-host Aiden. And there are some news with the Yankees today. It was announced that J.D. Davis will be placed on a 10-day IL with the stomach flu, aka the shits. Jorbit Vivas. The big news here is that Jorbit Vivas will be making his major league debut. He was called up as the the corresponding move. Davis's injury is retroactive to July 9th. If it's a 10-day IL stint, it put them on track to be activated right at the beginning of the All-Star break. Not that I think any Yankee fans are particularly concerned with the return of J.D. Davis, considering he hasn't really played lately. The emergence of Ben Rice kind of changed a lot, I feel like, with first base, and I think that home run off of that lefty Poche definitely, I think, also changed the way that Yankee fans are willing to view even playing against lefties or anything like that. So, Aiden, with Vivas up, with, him being a second baseman / third baseman and him handling himself well at both positions, we obviously know the struggles that LeMahieu and Torres have had all year. Give us your initial thoughts on Vivas and kind of what you think this could mean for that position as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to look at this news and think that Vivas is going to be up here for a very long time because they're just, Davis will be back probably by the end of the All-Star break, so they're just going to, put Davis back onto the roster and send Vivas back down probably, but he has at least 3 games to show, or at most 3 games right now, to show the Yankees, what he's got, because as we're in this awful skid, it's just the outlook of the infield has gotten just worse and worse and worse. Like if you asked me in May if the infield would look this bad, I'd call you crazy. I called up Ben Rice. That has worked. Volpe's really got to figure it out, but Gleyber Torres and DJ LeMahieu have been actively hurting this team, especially DJ LeMahieu. I mean, the guy's a one-outcome player, and that's going up there and just hitting a ground ball. And I don't need to tell you why that doesn't work for a major league offense. Gleyber, his bat's been on and off, and then just, not doing well in the field, and his mental state is just not there either. So this is really a chance for Vivas to, show what he's got, because come the off season in 2024 heading into 2025, there's going to be a big question mark in the infield, and that's going to be third base and probably second base too. It doesn't look like the Yankees are going to be bringing Gleyber Torres back, and people have been kind of pointing to Vivas being an eventual Gleyber Torres replacement. But you just hope that Vivas can show what he's got, show some promise with the bat. Show it off in the fields. We'll probably see a lot of third base from him because second base. He's primarily a second baseman. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Yankees get him in there. I honestly think they're going to be putting him at third base a lot, because they don't want to take Torres out of the lineup and, why keep DJ in there? So Ryan, I mean, how does Vivas really profile as a hitter? Like I know he's not, your slugger, he's not your hard hitter, but he still, puts the ball in play. He pulls the ball a lot too, which is great. So what does he kind of look like?
Yeah, so Jorbit Vivas, as you mentioned, not going to run high exit velocities, but, the things that he does well are actually kind of similar to what Ben Rice does well from, again, you have to exclude the raw power. I mentioned this to you before we recorded, kind of the play discipline, the zone coverage, the ability to be aggressive in zone and say, hey, I've got a hittable pitch, I'm going to handle it. He does that really well. Gets the ball in the air a lot more now than he did last year. It's a 40% ground ball rate, or a 41, I think it's somewhere in that range. 40.2%, excuse me. 25.5% line drive rate, 34.3% fly ball rate. Those are really good batted ball splits for this kind of hitter, right? Again, without that excellent, elite level raw power, he can't be a 50 or 60% fly ball guy for sure. That's just going to run really low averages and really low BABIPs, and you may not be getting the power you're looking for out of that. A lot of line drives means he can hit for some average. 404 OBP, that's the result of a 17.2% walk rate. He's striking out just 18.3% of the time. So, the more he walks, the more he's able to put the ball in play. That's great. As you mentioned, he pulls the ball in the air a ton. That's important because that's where he's going to get his game power. That's where he's going to be able to hit home runs. That's where he's going to be able to make a difference. And I think make a real impact. And, the thing he's been really doing lately is finally getting into that pull side power. He hasn't been as consistent with that when he was with the Los Angeles Dodgers. That's how the Yankees got him, by the way, for those who are unaware. It was in the trade in which they sent Trey Sweeney over to the Dodgers. They get Victor Gonzalez and Jorbit Vivas. Gonzalez, obviously, the ERA was good, but it was misleading. He clearly wasn't pitching well. Like, the walks were higher than the strikeouts. He's now in AAA with the Yankees. He was designated for assignment, and nobody even tried to scoop him up. And, even at the time, like, I remember that trade kind of being looked at as, the Yankees trade their first-round pick. Well, Swing has an 81 WRC plus and a 242 average in AAA right now. Vivas has a 122 and 122 WRC plus and a 404 BP. Feel really good about this trade right now, right? We'll see how over the next few years, maybe Sweeney finds something this year or next year. But considering that he's Rule 5 eligible at the end of the season, I'm not particularly confident that Dodgers are going to put him on their 40-man. Maybe I could be wrong about that. Whereas Vivas, he had to be on your 40-man, but he can now help you right now. If the Yankees don't make that trade, they're calling up Peraza, and Peraza's been an unmitigated disaster in AAA. I don't even want to go through the stats because it's pretty ugly. I think Vivas can really take advantage of that short porch in right field. And Aiden, I don't want this episode to just kind of be me, shitting on the team or whatever, but the infield's been a joke. The infield's been an embarrassment. The infield's been, so bad, right? And the offense, I was talking to this about this with Alex, and I've been talking to Alex about this for a few episodes now. How many guys in this lineup can change the scoreboard with one swing when they come up to start an inning? It's Judge, it's Soto, and the third guy right now is Ben Rice, your rookie, the guy who just came up. Like, the guy you should be expecting to go through growing pains. Wells has kind of started to hit for a little more power, but, like, Aiden, they need guys who are going to have an approach of, I'm going to attack the baseball, I'm going to do damage, instead of, let me just pass the baton and pray that Judge and Soto do something and drive me in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they especially don't have that player in the infield outside of Judge, Soto, and Rice. They especially don't have that player with their current approach, I think. I think their current approach at the plate is absolutely awful. I don't know what to say. But a lot of Yankee fans asked for a contact-oriented approach, going through the pains of last year and going into the offseason. They asked for a contact-oriented approach, and we're seeing what a contact-oriented approach gets you. It's very volatile, and a lot of the time, it could turn very, very, very sour. Right now, we're seeing that approach, and we're seeing ground ball after ground ball, weak fly out, weak line drive. It doesn't work. It's best exemplified with Anthony Volpe. He had a good couple of first months, but right now his approach just isn't working. He's going up there and kind of flailing at the baseball. Like, he's going up there and just trying to make contact, and it's weak contact. And I don't know, like, you can't just keep hitting these ground balls and hitting these weak fly balls and think that this approach is working. The same thing goes for Torres. The same thing goes for LeMahieu. I said before, the guy's a one outcome player. All he does is hit a ground ball. Gleyber Torres, we know the bat is there. It's been there ever since he's been in the major leagues. It was there last year. He was the Yankees' best offensive player when Judge wasn't on the field last year. And now he looks like, he can't hit a beach ball. So that's why the outlook for the Yankees is so bad right now. Because not only do you not have any kind of scoreboard changer in your infield, you only have like 3 of them in your lineup. There aren't much options on the trade market, in my opinion, that I think can fix this. The Yankees, they kind of got to figure it out. They got to change their approach. They got to make some adjustments. That's been the thing, a lack of adjustments with this team. It's been with the pitching rotation. It's been with the bullpen. You got to make adjustments. You got to fix your approach, because you can't just expect to save yourself with the trade deadline, because there's maybe a couple of hard hitters on the market that'll help this lineup, but, the Yankee tax too when it comes to the trade deadline. They're going to get, if they ask the Diamondbacks for Christian Walker, they probably won't now because of Ben Rice, but say they ask the Diamondbacks for Christian Walker, whatever, they were asking, let's say, I don't know, I guess not the Nationals. What am I talking about? Let's say the San Francisco Giants ask about Christian Walker. I don't know why they would. The Yankees are probably going to get triple the ask of whatever they're asking from the San Francisco Giants. That's just the Yankees tax, especially because, there's been some not so much confidence in their prospects. So whatever team is trading for their prospects want to make sure they're getting volume and, something good out of there. But there's nothing on this market right now that can completely fix the Yankees lineup or that infield. I think maybe you go out and you trade for Jonathan India or something like that. Maybe, I don't know, a Jazz Chisholm, but the outlook is a little grim right now. But I am confident that the Yankees can figure it out, and I am confident that the guys in this infield, especially Volpe and Torres, can turn it around.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Jorbit Vivas, like, all he has to do is be, like, a league average second baseman or a league average third baseman, and it plugs a hole. And I'll say this too, the Yankees are better off, in my opinion, acquiring fewer players at an increased quality than just a bunch of mid, right? Like, go get a game-changing infielder. Don't get me, like, two okay players. Like, guys that I'm not confidently sure are, like, significantly better than even, like, John Birdie. Like, I don't mean to, like, gas up John Birdie, but John Birdie was... he's a good player in 23. It's not like he was a bad player. He was above average hitter and a good defender. Even this year, like, he was a 90 WRC plus hitter, a good base runner, a good defender, right? Like, that's about a league average player. I know that people are going to say it's not a league average hitter, but, like, sure, if you want to pretend defense and base running don't matter, then just don't watch baseball when guys pitch, and don't watch baseball when their guys are on base, because the Yankees, I think, do get beat by not being a good base running team. They are the worst base running team in baseball since 2021, according to BSR. They're the only team in baseball with a negative 30 or worse BSR. They're back-to-back the slowest team in baseball in terms of sprint speed in 23 and 24. Think they were in 22 as well. It could have been the Giants, but I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure they were as well. This team is slow. They're boring. They don't hit home runs anymore, unless it's Judge or Soto or Rice. I'm going to give pride. Don't want to forget Rice in this conversation. Like, how much do we miss Stan right now? And this is a guy who, like, I felt like, you know, number one, I thought was justifiably so under the ire of a lot of fans coming into the year. And number two, like, not a sure bet. Like, right now, my eyes, like, that Glaber at bat yesterday, dude, 2-0. Like, you're chasing a fastball in the dirt, basically. Like, he gets a middle pitch to hit. You can't even pull it. Gets beat on it. It's 3-2. Dude, just hunt. Like, if you're going to have this approach, I'm going to hunt a fastball when I get it. Cool, man. I mean, then I expect that ball to be 5 rows deep into left field. I expect a pulled fly ball. I expect damage contact. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of approach I'm expecting. And then for LeMahieu, as you mentioned, I mean, dude, I call him a two-player. He's a two-way player. Or a way two player. He's way too slow and way too feeble to be on my starting lineup. He's a way two, not a two-way, a way two. This team, like, you have two infielders who are complete zeros for you right now. At least LeMahieu can play defense, but he is also significantly worse than Glaber offensively, and that's saying something because Glaber's like an 83 WRC plus. So Vivas has to also play tonight. Like, I know somebody's going to point out, a lefty's pitching. Cade Povich has, here are the numbers. Cade Povich against right-handed batters. 317 slug and 259 WOBA in AAA. The major league splits also, he's worse against left-handed hitters. Against lefties, 426 slug, 317 WOBA. Lefties hit Cade Povich well. If Jorbit Vivas does not play tonight, and I see either DJ LeMahieu and or Glaber Torres in the lineup instead of him, I'm going to lose my mind. Like, we saw this yesterday where, like, Trevino comes in for Wells, and I have no problem with that. I don't have a problem with it from a matchup standpoint. But Poche is so much worse against lefties, and yes, Trevino got screwed in his at-bat. Again, I'm not killing Boone for this. More so kind of almost killing Trevino for it. 3-1, dude, fastball over the plate. 3-1 fastball over the plate, doesn't swing. I get it. You just got hosed. You should have been on first base. But you're in there to pinch hit. It's in the name. Pinch hitter. Pinch hit. Swing the bat. You know what I mean? Why are you in a hitter's count if you're not going to swing? I don't know if you saw a stat I put out there. On heart pitches, pitch in the heart of the zone. Like, the kinds of pitches you don't want pitchers to throw, and you want pitchers to get and hit. No team in baseball swung at under 70% of those pitches in the last month, except for the Yankees. Except for the New York Yankees. They're the only team who's done that. I mean, they have to be more aggressive in zone. Vivas is aggressive in zone, which I like. But as a team, dude, like, Vivas isn't going to change the lineup. Ben Rice is giving them a 138 WRC plus and hit 5 home runs. That's more than I think you and I could have asked for in his first 20-something games. And this team has been awful over that stretch. He can't fix everything. The pitching has to be better, but the hitting, dude, I mean, it's just not enough. It's just not. So, hopefully he has some things for that. But speaking of the trade stuff, Aiden, if there's one guy you could get at the trade deadline, like one dude you're like, I want this infielder. Doesn't have to be a guy you know is available. But, like, obviously you can't trade for, like, Alex Bregman at this point. The Astros are above 500. Like, who's your guy? Who's your guy if you could pick one guy?
like a guy who's on the market, like actively on the market.
Not like for example, like Matt Chapman may not be considered actively on the market, but if that was your answer, that's fine. Or like Jonathan India, that's a fine answer. You get what I'm saying? Like that level of availability.
Yeah, I would say like a Matt Chapman or Jonathan India type, just purely based off of need, because they got to figure something out at third base. But Matt Chapman obviously is not going to be on the market because the Giants are kind of playing pretty well. I think Jonathan India is. I think the Yankees are going to end up with him. But if I had to pick, and this was my guy before Ben Rice came up, Christian Walker. I could not explain to you how much Christian Walker would help this lineup because, like you just said, the Yankees don't have a scoreboard changer in their infield. They don't have a scoreboard changer outside of Judge, Soto, and Rice. Christian Walker is a scoreboard changer. Obviously, there's nowhere for him to play with Rice up because Rice is playing first base. And then, when Stanton comes back, there goes DH. I don't believe Christian Walker plays any third base or second base. But that would be my pick purely just because he just hits the crap out of the ball. And I think he would profile really well in Yankee Stadium and in this lineup. But I think my answer right now is Jonathan India because this team needs a leadoff hitter. And I think he would, fit in really well into the leadoff role. And the Yankees are just desperate too. They need something. They need to add something to this infield. It's not going to save them, but it's going to help. And it's going to, hopefully be big in October. Who would your pick be, Ryan? Because I just feel like the trade market is so dry, and there's no one besides like Christian Walker or like Pete Alonso that gets me really excited. That thinks this could change the outlook of things.
Yeah, I will say this: like Christian Walker is also like the best first baseman. I think that's going to get moved, even if Alonso gets moved. Like. We're at that point. He's clearly the better player. Like, it's not really close. Better defender, might be the better hitter straight up at this point. Like, if the Yankees want to go get a first baseman free agency, let's say, like, Rice moves back to catcher or whatever it may be. I don't know if that happens, but I'm just throwing shit out there. Just saying things at this point. I'm waffling. Walker is so clearly a better player than Alonso. I mean, it's not close. I would say my answer would be Matt Chapman because if you think about the infield defense, if Vivas is an okay player, you've got Chapman, Volpe, Vivas, and Rice, and I don't think I could just live with that. I think that would make your pitching staff a little better, which is important because you're going to need to improve the pitching staff. A lot of the bullpen guys, it's kind of weird. The bullpen has been really, really good as of late, in my opinion. Like, think they allowed one earned run all weekend, and it was that Canley slider to DeLuca where it's off the plate, and DeLuca, who never goes the other way, has never gone the other way in his goddamn life.
That pitch was a foot outside. That was a foot outside. People after the game were like mad at the bullpen, mad at Tommy Canley, and I'm like, listen, I know the bullpen hasn't been good. That pitch was a foot outside. There is nothing Canley could do there. He inherited Tonkin's runner, who had pitched, 1.2 innings pitched, and then Canley comes in, inherits a runner at second base. He throws, I think it was either a changeup or a slider, a foot outside, and the guy batting 170 just drives it the other way. He never goes the other way, like you said. Anyway, I digress. It
was like one of the most infuriating hits I've seen in a while. Like, that really fucking ruined my night. I mean, obviously losing the game ruined my night, but I was so mad about that. But kind of getting back to in the bullpen, like, dude, I actually think, okay, this might be like a hot I actually think like Jake Cousins might not be bad. Like, he might be I don't know if it's a dude. A dude is strong. A dude is like, Luke Weaver's a dude. You know what I mean? Tim Hill, I don't care. Tim Hill's a dude. Tim Hill, I'm aggressively ranking him as a dude. But like, they have guys who are like decent enough. They need to add, I think, a big time name, but I said the lineup was closer than the rotation, and I still believe that to an extent, but maybe the bullpen's the closest to like being a normally functioning group and just needs one big addition. Maybe that's where we're really at. I don't fucking know, man. But I mean, at this point in time, I mean, I think you need a rotation upgrade. You need a lineup upgrade. Now, does Chapman? I know Chapman isn't like, I know people don't really love Matt Chapman, but like, I'm not, I'm not a sheep I can think for myself, and I think that Matt Chapman's a good baseball player. I think he's been an above-average hitter every single year of his career, and that makes you good, despite what the woke left will tell you. I'm joking. No, in all seriousness, though, like, he can hit. I think he can play defense. I'm trying to pull up Fangraphs here. He has a 113 WRC+, 7 defensive runs saved. I need a guy like that. And he can thump. He hits the ball hard. I think you hit more home runs at Yankee Stadium because San Francisco is the place where home runs go to die, unless you're Heliot Ramos, who, good for him, man. But, no, I think somebody like that. India, I love the idea of adding Jonathan India, but defensively, he's naturally a third baseman, and he actually profiles pretty well for third. He played there, minor leagues, college, that was his position, but you are asking a guy to play third base after never playing it in his major league career. So, I don't know. And you have Rice at first base, and you not saying that, I know Rice hasn't actually been that bad there, but it feels cruel to put him as, like, the guy who's, like, around bad defensive infielders, you know what I mean? I feel like you kind of have to get everybody, like, they all have to make throws. They all have to be able to make throws and crap and all that stuff. But Chapman kind of profiles is, in my opinion, the best overall fit. Gonna throw this out there, though. Speaking of the Rays, if you want to go big, give me Isak Paredes right freaking now, dude. That guy, it will never happen. But, oh my God, dude, he's such a monster. Or Brandon Lowe. I think Brandon Lowe's, like, realistic. He makes, like, $10 million next year and the year after. So, you know, and he's left-handed. Like, if for the Yankee fans who care about that stuff, I don't really give a shit. I just want good hitters, but, you know. Right? I don't know. We're kind of floating shit out here. But Vivas is up. That's going to be exciting. It'll give me a reason to watch and, you know, only kind of claw my eyes out. But, Aiden, you got any parting words?
3 games until, you know, the misery is temporarily over, and, you know, hopefully they can figure some stuff out. But God, this infield needs help so bad. The lineup needs help so bad. I do hope Matt Chapman is available. The Giants are 4 games under 500, but why would they sign him to a contract this season and then immediately trade him? But those are my parting words. This infield needs help, and I hope Jorbit can send it into orbit.
Absolutely, and I think I might need help because I still watch this team every single day. But with that being said, if you guys enjoy self-torturing yourselves as well, you guys can check out all of our Yankees stuff on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and of course this YouTube page. Empire Sports Media has got you guys covered with a bunch of New York sports content in general. If you are sick of the Yankees, don't read about the Giants. That's not going to do much better. But the Knicks, hey, the Jets have Aaron Rodgers. That's cool. You know, the Nets exist. They're certainly one of the teams that ever exist. The Rangers are in a playoff, or were in a playoff push. The Islanders, sure. But anyways, like New York sports, there's a lot to talk about. Empire Sports Media's got you covered, the written content there. We've got short form and long form video content on all of our social pages. We just shouted out. Aiden's got us covered with pod clips and different edits and all that stuff. So you guys want to check that stuff out. You guys can also follow our personal Twitter accounts. Those are going to be above our heads. We tweet about the Yankees, and if you are interested in anything else, I'm not sure I can provide that, but maybe Aiden can. He's he's a more interesting person. Thank you guys again for tuning in. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.
Perfect.